Hello, everybody. This is Geek Ed. We are in our 8th episode today. We still don't have a Connor with us, unfortunately. He is still, I think he's still in Germany. In Germany, isn't he, Magnus?
Yep.
Still absent, but hopefully he's having fun. We've not heard anything from him.
Connor's basically moved out, hasn't he?
We don't want to say that yet. Yeah.
But we've had a pretty good week. I've had a pretty decent week. I found out some really cool information that I'm going to start to work for Waterstones. For any American viewers, like if you're there, that's the equivalent of what was Borders, Holland. It's not Holland and Barrett. What's the American stuff? The American bookstores. Barnes and Noble. That's the one. Barnes and Noble. And I'm going to get to work around books every day.
Very nice.
Better news than me.
Very excited about that. Peter, how's your week been?
Well, I was good. Then I realized that I'm jealous of your job. It would be dangerous to let me loose in the bookshop unsupervised.
Peter, we need you to lock up. The next day, there's no shop. What?
Where are all the books? Well, we're missing everything from the sci-fi and fantasy section, but romance is completely untouched. Now, it's been an okay week. Just a bit of work, bit of writing, and gotten started properly on my big review of Foundation.
Very excited about that. For those that don't know about our Foundation, we're talking about Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy. Peter,
No, no, I am not. I
You
am
do
talking
all of them?
about the whole of the Foundation saga.
Ooh, the saga. I beg your pardon.
Thank you.
All of it.
Yeah, it's been great. Right now, I've actually been doing a bit of research on the. Okay, in 1966, which is a great year for the English, but in that year, the Hugo Awards for the only time hosted the award for Best Ever Series. The only time they've ever done that.
Hmm.
And you had things like, the Barsoom books, you had Lensman, and you had Lord of the Rings in the category, as well as Heinlein Future, I've forgotten what it was, but one of the Heinlein series,
Hmm.
and Asimov wins.
That's a fair deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those few times when you look at the award list and you go, you know what? Any of these guys winning, I would be okay with this. You cannot say any of them don't deserve it.
It's true.
But yeah, even Asimov thought that Tolkien was going to win it. They were actually, I was looking it up. It turns out they're actually big fans of each other's work.
Well, they would be, wouldn't they?
Well, they're both academics. They're both high, like extremely high in their field of study.
Yeah, but they actually communicated with each other.
Yeah.
Whoa!
It was quite cool. So yeah, but Tolkien was known for being like a. Apparently, Tolkien was the kind of guy who walks into a room and he's just like, "Hey." Actually, no, I'm kidding. He wasn't. Tolkien was not that kind of guy at all. So he makes a friend. It's rare. C.S. Lewis, on the other hand, he was the kind of guy who walks into a room and he's already your best friend.
Tolkien.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I'm listening to one podcast about Tolkien. He was an old school English Don, and he knew it, even at 70, and he just wanted to smoke his pipe.
Yeah, although it's pretty cool to. Apparently, when he would do lectures on Beowulf,
Yeah.
which he translated, like the original version, he would start reading like the first 2 paragraphs or something in the Anglo-Saxon, but he wouldn't do it like, and now I will read Beowulf. Although I do behold, it would be more along the lines of, forsooth, do you not see? One person put it, It's like Gandalf was just there telling the story.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Anyway, beyond that though, just watching some TV, catching up with some of the series, the new episode of Doctor Who that came out last week, obviously.
Awesome.
It was all right.
I'm excited where they're going with it. I like the new Doctor.
I've not watched Doctor Who for years.
It's a good place to start again. Anytime there's a new Doctor, it's a good point to jump onto the show.
Yeah.
But I want to cut the dinosaur lady's head off.
Hopefully.
I want her dead.
She might die. I can see that happening.
I do not like her at all.
I think she served her purpose quite well in the old series as a bit of like a touch when they went to the Victorian, but now she seems like she's in here for the long haul.
Yeah. I hate her.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm finding more and more I'm actually hating the main characters in a lot of series. Like, for those of you who are up to date with Falling Skies, Tom Mason's a dick. And a terrible leader. A terrible leader.
Desperate daddy.
Don't spoil it, please.
All I'll say is what we've known all along. He cannot distinguish between personal and important.
Yeah. You could tell that from the beginning, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes him a terrible person to be leading the human race. I actually feel much better with Pope in charge.
Pope would be
I would love Pope to be in charge personally. He's my favourite character. I love Pope.
He just gets better and better.
Although I think the best leaders would actually be not Tom Mason, but his son, the oldest one. I've forgotten his name. Hal.
He's coming into his own now.
Colonel Weaver. Hal and Colonel Weaver would be good.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, they would. But you saw a movie today.
Oh yeah, I did. The horrifically underperforming and very poorly reviewed Sin City 2: A Dame to Kill For, played by the in-film woefully underdressed Eva Green.
Are you going to do us a review?
There will be a proper review coming out, but I can summarize my opinion for you.
Okay, summarize it.
It's not that it does anything really, really terrible, but there is nothing in it that is good.
Which is disappointing because the first movie you had was so good.
Okay, it's still. I'll give it one good. It still looks stylish.
Yeah, I mean the black and white, and the color,
Is the whole film black and white?
Almost. There are splashes of color, but like Robert Rodriguez, man, you made Desperado. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Don't let Frank Miller direct.
I think he's taking a back seat on a lot of things. Like even I think Warner Brothers did the Batman Returns, and he was only loosely. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he was only loosely connected with it. Really.
I don't know. Anyway, Magnus, what you been up to?
Okay, so my new computer arrived.
Woo!
And I've literally spent the whole week downloading because my internet sucks. So my friend just got his computer as well. His internet was incredible, but the thing was his laptop was really run down, so he couldn't like download anything. But now that he's got this new computer, his internet is insane. So a game that took me a whole day, it was supposed to take 2 hours. It ended up taking, I think it was 8.
Oh dear.
It took him less than half an hour.
Your internet.
What'd you say?
Your internet's crap.
Yeah, it is.
No, he doesn't have internet. What you actually have is you got carrier pigeons just bringing you messages.
At the moment, I'm trying to download Dishonored. Oh, that is a big game.
Yeah,
you'll be there until Thursday.
Absolutely amazing game, though.
Yeah. I'm playing a lot of single-player games at the moment.
They are doing a second Dishonored, but they've still got another couple of years before that's going to be released.
I'm looking most forward to October, though.
Why?
I've pre-ordered Shadow of Mordor.
Ooh, now that's a game I'm excited for.
I am so terrified about that game
Okay, how come?
because I'll be honest, every Lord of the Rings game that I have seen and or attempted to play has sucked. But it looks really, really good.
It does.
I mean,
I'm
best choice,
hoping.
obviously, you're not the Fellowship,
Yep.
Yeah.
meaning that you actually have some freedom in the story, which is good.
Oh, a huge amount.
And the way the world reacts to you, if they've done that well, could be great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, somebody once described this about running an RPG during the War of the Ring. Everyone's just like, yeah, what we're doing is fun, it's interesting. I mean, it's nice to play as the dwarves up with Day 9 for defending the North, but, you know, that stuff with Frodo is kind of a bit more interesting and important. Couldn't we just kind of go there instead?
Yeah, this one is completely. I don't think it's even set.
I'm trying to think what time range it's set.
I think it's set, from what I understand, it's set in kind of like the Sauron's getting ready for his stuff, but before Frodo actually starts his journey.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's
it's when
Lord of the Rings.
Sauron's just claimed Mordor. That's what he's done. He just assaulted the Black Gate to get Mordor back. That's what.
Just
that's
after
where it
being
is.
kicked out of Mirkwood in The Hobbit, then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's putting it like a good 70 or so years before Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this is from what it looks like. It looks like the storyline isn't going to be. It's not a long storyline.
I know a bit of the storyline already, but I know that Gollum's in it. They've introduced Gollum, yeah.
Ooh.
And does anyone want to know who the Wraith is that accompanies you?
Why not?
No.
So you know Sauron and his ring forging.
Yeah.
You know his the one who trained him, or like who Sauron was apprentice for.
No.
I think his name's Celebrimbor, and he's in charge of the forging of the rings of power for the elves, or in general, and pretty much Sauron slaughtered his family so he wouldn't make any more rings. So pretty much I think he's come back from the dead as a wraith because of like some sort of curse, and he assists you to try and wipe out Sauron.
Huh. I mean, ultimately, we know that he's doomed to fail because we've got Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually really worried when you said who Sauron learnt from, because he didn't learn from Celebrimbor. He taught him.
Yeah.
Sauron learnt from Morgoth. So I was pretty scared there. I'm just thinking, no. You do not have your main character have the devil as his no.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I was first thinking about when I read the lore. I was like, wait, this isn't right. He's like, yeah, the devil, and pretty much then I realised that it
Sauron
was
apprenticed under Morgoth, the most powerful of the Valar.
Yeah, he was trapped outside the universe for a reason.
But he's not trapped. He's been diminished and reduced to less than a wraith.
Yeah,
Less than a mist, basically.
Okay.
It's debatable, but yeah. You had me worried for a second there, Magnus. The ghost.
Anyway,
Even if the ghost of an elf showing up is absolutely, completely, and utterly going against the cosmology of Tolkien's universe, and could never possibly ever happen because they have the Undying Land, and they have the Halls of the Dead, and they have reincarnation, but anyway.
They're already messing with it with the Hobbit and an elf-dwarf relationship. I'm just completely screwed.
oh my goodness, I still don't get that. Oh my days.
I'm just having to bite my lip and try and enjoy it.
I think Peter's trying to commit suicide in the background there.
He's hacking away with his keyboard at his wrist.
But anyway, that Shadow of Mordor, that brings us on to our topic, which is gaming.
Gaming etiquette.
Yeah, not the kind of games like Shadow of Mordor, which
No.
is a single-player game. Which
Yeah, we're looking at online gaming now.
Yeah.
It's something that if hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all over the world, they go online and they battle, fight, street arcade, sports, whatever. Like there's a huge e-sport movement now,
Oh yeah.
and there are a lot of real douches out there that really kind of spoil the experience.
Yeah.
Like, go for it, Peter. Sorry.
I can just tell you everything that I've learned running into those people. Done. Yeah, I'm a bit of an outsider in this one because my favorite kinds of games are, as we know, the really old ones, the single-player ones. I've played on a couple of MMORPGs, but I've always stayed on the PvE servers.
Mm.
I'm not a fan of PvP in concept, let alone in practice.
Yeah.
So I don't really know anything about how bad the douches get.
Oh my goodness! Like, okay, here's one. Like, I play a lot of PC, not PC. I used to play a lot of PC, but now my PC can't run games really. But I'm a console player. I love my Xbox. The amount of messages that I have got from strangers with the most obscene language that I don't feel is justified in the slightest. We're all there having a bit of fun, but they take it way too personally. I think it's really stupid.
Just play League of Legends. There you go.
Oh my goodness, League of Legends was actually. I got some abuse on League of Legends. I was a beginner. I had no idea what the high path, the middle, and the low. I had no idea, so I was just running about, and I had so much abuse thrown at me.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, back off.
It's what people don't realise. Like, if you make a new character or anything, and you just need to realise that there are new people who start playing this game. You can't just expect them to know everything.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nice things. That I play a lot of FPSs on the console, and it's pretty easy. Like, you've got the rank, and if you look at someone, you see their rank. That if they're way too good, you know they've just started a new account, just for the heck of it. But if they're a low rank and they're not doing well, then it's not their fault.
Yeah, like I suck at FPS.
I love FPSs. I
can't even stand the genre.
I only like FPSs like Borderlands. I just got Borderlands 2. That's a lot of fun.
Borderlands is an awesome game.
I only like FPSs like Worms. That's the nearest I get to the FPS genre.
That's strategy.
Yeah. That's totally what I know about that one.
Oh my goodness! But we could go on an entire episode about how amazing Worms is, though. That wouldn't be hard.
No, but okay.
Hallelujah.
So you're saying that if I was to go online as like the non-online guy, I would expect there to be a lot of, let's be blunt, assholes treating me like scum because I don't know everything because I've just started playing.
Yeah.
I think that's with every game, to be honest. There is someone like that for every game.
And I think it's really sad.
Yep.
I think it's a really sad situation that you've got these. Generally, they are extremely young kids that are talking things that they would never repeat in front of their parents, and their parents probably don't even realise that they know this language.
Let alone play the game.
And they're shouting, and the worst one that I find really almost offensive is when you're in a lobby waiting for a game and people are just swearing down the microphone in the middle of the lobby. I think it is one of the rudest things you can do.
Yep.
Yeah. I have heard some stories about this sort of stuff. One thing I do want to add to that, though, and this is kind of a message for the girl gamers out there. These guys, they will insult you, they will treat you like scum, but it's not because you're a girl. It's because they're you are. Yeah, I mean, they'll use different insults for you because you're a girl, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not exactly going to look at you and call you a dick if you're a girl. But
Yeah.
it's not because you're a girl. I mean, there are people who have tried to say, like, online gaming culture is misogynistic. I don't believe that.
No.
It's not misogynistic, it's just full of complete and utter arseholes who insult everyone.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I'd agree with that completely. It's like there are many women out there that play MMOs that are actually extremely good. Like my wife is horribly good at all Street Fighter style
It's
games,
terrifying going against Jenny. Oh.
and like she gives a lot of people a run for their money that are experienced gamers, and I would be so angry if she got any abuse just because she's a woman. I would be so angry.
Yeah,
I know there are people out there that
I
would.
think it's because some people, like, there are some guys there that feel like they're above all women. So
Yeah.
kind of when they find out that it's a woman who's just, like, beating the crap out of them, they'll be like, that's not right, I'm going to have to do something about that.
Yeah, but I
Which is
still
just
don't.
completely wrong.
I still don't buy the thing that it's because they're, girls. I think it's just because the other person is a douche and they're trying to find anything that will work.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that.
And so, considering that, yes, girls are outnumbered compared to guys in online gaming, yeah, they'll draw attention to that.
Yeah.
But it's not because you're a girl, it's because they're an arse.
Yeah.
And to me, whether I won or lost, they'd say something similar, except, they'd say it in a slightly different package, that's all.
Yeah, I don't see why we can't. Like, there are tons of videos out there, and I actually really appreciate them. Like the awesome kills of the day, and I think I can appreciate when someone is skilled and they get a good achievement. Whether it's on League of Legends, I've dabbled in League of Legends, and I really enjoy the style of gaming in that game, and I love my FPSs. I can appreciate when someone has genuine skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, the Steam did a documentary a couple of, I think it was a year ago now, about Dota 2. And the guys on that, they practice for hours upon hours.
Yeah.
And
have you ever seen the guys in the professional StarCraft competitions?
Oh my goodness, they are terrifying.
They're going full pelt, and I'm thinking, I didn't even know I could click that quickly.
Oh.
You're out racing they'll go full bore for like 2 minutes, and then they'll wait a few moments for it to catch up.
And then have you seen the video of the guy who's got I can't remember how many is it? It's clicks per minute, clicks per second or something. It's like
I don't
a
know.
measure of speed, and it's pretty much the guy with the highest clicks per second on a mouse or reaction score. And pretty much there are games like StarCraft and stuff. He has to play other games because StarCraft is too slow for him.
Wow.
And then on
That's
just
crazy.
that's insane. What's
Yeah.
wrong with this kid?
I'll be
What's
honest.
he taking?
I'd be scared going up against that guy. So help me out with this one, guys. Picture this. I'm the newbie gamer.
Yep.
I'm going online. You guys are the experienced ones. Now, let's assume that, if you beat me, I'm not going to go, oh, you cheating fag, you new fag, that I'm not going to be that kind of guy. What's the advice to the guy when you're fighting someone or online against someone who is clearly nowhere near as good as you?
Can I give an example of this? Because actually, it's Magnus and Connor were really good in this kind of situation. So I decided that I wanted to try out League of Legends and Dota 2. And I knew that Magnus and Connor played a lot of League of Legends. So they came in and they would game with me for a while, and they helped me out. But I guess that's from a bottom-up perspective. If I know that I'm good on a game, like an FPS, it's a bit harder, because if you run around and you accidentally run into the same person 3 times, then it's kind of on reactions and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. But certainly for a MMO, it's being able to. Personally, I'd probably give them a message. Send them a message and tell them, like, look, here's maybe some ways that you can improve. Like, think about this, think about the strategy of the total game, but try and be as friendly as possible. Really, you don't want to scare them off.
Mm.
That's like whenever I know someone's better than me, I just talk to them like, "Wow, you're shredding me. I think I might just annoy you with speech." And the worst part is it works sometimes.
I guess part of why I'm asking is because, like, this is obviously my big problem with online RPGs. It's why I don't play them, is because there is no actual role-playing in them.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I've said that before. So kind of like the main thing that attracts me to games and gaming, the ability to play idiosyncratically, doesn't really lend itself to online gaming really, because you will get destroyed unless you use the top winning strategies.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it looks like to me. So I'm just wondering, like, what would you do then if there is somebody who's doing that? Do you tell them, nah, you're never going to win unless you play this exact way that everybody else who wins plays? Or what else do you do to them? I'm not sure.
Out of what I've seen, that there's not a lot of games I've played where like there's only one way you can win. I don't really. Obviously, in games like League of Legends, which I play, there are a couple of like characters you can play as, which you kind of win your role in that game, like most likely. But there's always a different character to counter the other one, so it's kind of what you feel is strong against what.
I think it's like if you know that you're outranking someone and they've just started, like the easiest thing, because like in League of Legends, you've got the tanks, you've got many different classes, and certainly what helped me when I was getting into it was like Magnus and Connor telling me, why don't you try out these kind of characters? They might suit your style of gaming, as opposed to this is the character that will always win.
Yeah.
Bless you.
You okay, Peter?
I was just sneezing a bit. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
So I think it would be cool if we all just say what online gamings we have had, or what kind of online gamings we started from and worked our way up to.
Okay, and I would like you guys, if possible, to just kind of give me your top 3 rules. Like, maybe, like, Guy, you give me the top 3 rules for how I should act, and Magnus, kind of like your 3 rules of, how should I want people to treat me if I go online. Because, like I say, my online gaming is a couple of MMOs, which I stopped playing because I found them hideously boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Sorry, Magnus, you go.
No, I was just going to say that these days MMOs is just grinding levels. That's all it is these days. It's not really a questing system either. It's just a checklist.
Yeah. I think
anyway.
that was what I think like you've got the typical MMOs, like you've got Old Republic, World of Warcraft, those kind of got like D&D Online, all of those that it is just crunching. And I think why League of Legends and Dota 2 have become so popular is because it's incorporating a skirmish strategy, because there are many more players and gamers out there that love their strategy games. You mentioned the original Warcraft, you mentioned StarCraft, you talk about Sid Meier's and Civilization, Command and Conquer, and you've got such a huge audience there.
Yeah. Although I've tried a couple of turn-based online games, and it's kind of hard to have fun with a turn-based online game because you spend so long waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my goodness, it's dreadful. Like, online card games, although most of them are really boring, out of what I've tried, it just drags on a lot longer than it should.
Yeah. I think I'm going back to those 3 rules. I would say the first and most important thing about online gaming and gaming in general is find the type of game that you can have fun with. If you're if your reaction times aren't that particularly quick and you don't really have too good coordination, then I'd say an FPS is probably not for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a valid thing to say, because gaming is ultimately it's meant to be enjoyable. You're not meant to force yourself to do something that because everyone else does it or you think that it's the cool thing to do. You need to find your niche, and if it so be that you enjoy more strategy like Dota, or if you are one of those the grinders that likes grinding away and getting the highest levels, then you go for it. But to remember to have fun, because the second it stops being fun is when you need to back away from the game. Second thing I'd say is appreciate the skill of other gamers, because that stops you thinking that they're just going around and killing you for the sake of it, and they probably aren't. They're not deliberately victimizing you. Some of them are. Some of them are real idiots like that, but generally they're not. And third, my third rule would probably be don't send messages to people and insulting them because they've done something a certain way. If they're a camper in an FPS, that's them. Don't worry about it. Don't go near where they are on the map. That's the easiest thing to do. That's their style of gaming, and
That's my
respect.
play style of FPS.
Everyone loves camping.
Okay, so my three were how you would want other people to
Yeah.
treat you.
Yeah, what should I be looking for in other people? Like, if somebody, because like the rules, like if somebody breaks these, just ignore them and leave them alone because you know you don't want to game with them.
Yeah, okay, so I think out of what I've seen, what you really want is people, whenever I play any form of game and I go into a chat, if there's a chat, I will type in the chat saying, I will type into the chat and I'll be like, oh, hello everyone, and then pretty much I see how friendly they are back and if they would like to talk or anything, because that way we can communicate and I get to know people. So I think one of the key things is actually making sure that they will communicate, because it's so much more fun if they communicate. Second, I think it is kind of what Guy said with the skill as well. I think that's one thing you want people to look at you as well. Obviously, you want to be skilled at the game you like, but I do think you kind of need to show that you have a simple understanding. You don't need to be super professional or anything, but you need to at least have a grasp on what you're doing, which will kind of make people not feel like they're having to babysit you. I've seen so many people feel like they've had to babysit me in games, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, it's a bit patronizing.
A game I really enjoy at the moment is Gary's mod. Like, it's a game where there's loads of different styles. So there's one where it's called Murder, and pretty much you can run around and the murderer has to wipe out the innocent pretty much. But you kind of communicate and you can talk to each other. You kind of talk strategically, and it just keeps everyone talking, and like that way it doesn't seem as lonely as when you're gaming. So the third one. So I guess I don't know. I don't know for the last one.
Like, is there anything that people do that immediately makes you go, okay, I'm not playing with that person anymore? Aside from the obvious overt, hey, F you.
Yeah, that really puts you off. But
Like on an FPS.
I think the key thing is if they act very, very full of themselves.
Yeah.
I really don't like people who believe they're the best. It's my least favorite thing is playing with people who believe that they can win the whole game or complete the game on their own without anyone else, and most likely it's a team-based game. Like even in World of Warcraft, if you do a dungeon, I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, but there's always that one guy who's like, oh, don't worry, I do a lot of damage. I can solo this dungeon. You can't. It's the reason it's why the dungeon is so difficult is to do so you work as a team instead of sitting there and crunching.
Definitely. I think they like the same on an FPS. You can tell the real idiots because they're the ones that have got their microphone on public. They want everyone to hear them, and they're the ones shouting down the mic every time they die, and then gloating every time they get a kill. It's just I automatically mute them.
I do that with every game. I just mute everyone because even if there is someone you like talking to, there's always like someone who could squeeze in there and just like make some ridiculous sounds. Like Team Fortress 2, when I played that with Guy, there were a couple of times where like people would run around doing like the kamikaze sound, just run around and shoot everyone, and they'd just be screaming at everyone who they kill, like, "Oh, you suck! Why don't you uninstall the game? I mean, I killed you with one shot." Oh.
Yeah, you don't need. Don't need that. I think anyone listening, we need to cultivate a environment that nourishes and encourages all gamers of all levels. We shouldn't be knocking people down. If you get your kicks out of this, leave. There is no time for you.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you do something awesome, maybe a bit of nobody's gonna mind if you did something like amazing, like. Let's say you're doing like an online version of Star Fox. You do like 3 rolls, an amazing flip, take somebody out in an awesome display of brilliance. Even if it's me, I'm not going to be that upset if you go, damn, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then carry on.
A lot of the time I watch
that.
A lot of the time I watch my kill cam, and if it's a good kill, I will really appreciate that because I was outsmarted, and I can accept that. And hopefully I'll learn.
Yeah, but the guy who starts just kind of going, you're like, I got you, oh yeah, you want to... Yeah, I can imagine how that would be a little bit irritating.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. But before we start ranting aimlessly, let's wrap this up tonight. I think we've had a really good discussion because we've got quite a varied number of opinions here. We've got Peter, who isn't an avid gamer. Magnus, who loves his PC. I am a gamer.
You are a gamer. Just different games.
You are a dice gamer, and we love you.
And an old school like strategy and RPG gamer.
Yeah, and I think maybe I didn't phrase it right. You're not an online gamer like some of us.
That's the one.
That's the one. I apologize. Right. But I think we've had a really good discussion. I hope that people who watched and listened to this will take this on board and help other people to enjoy their games as well. Yeah. Any final thoughts from either of you guys?
None from me.
All I can say is still not going to play an FPS.
That's a good choice in life, Peter.
I'm not going to comment. I love you anyway, Peter. You've got so many other redeemable qualities.
He's a role-playing genius.
Yeah, to be fair, you get Peter behind a dice, and there's no stopping him.
Yeah. Especially if it's me, my fire axe, and a group of zombies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Until you decide to prove me over, everyone. Yes, I'm still bitter.
But we've got a couple of articles. Peter, you've got an article about realism that I'm going to get onto the website.
Article/rant.
That's fine. That's fine. Magnus, are you going to write anything for us soon? Because you did that really good review about Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I can't think of anything right now, but I know that later on I will do a review of Shadow of Mordor when I play that.
Good man. And I've got a couple of reviews of books I've currently read. and a couple of other essays that I've got planned as well. So we've got things going on the blog. Go to our website www.geekeducation.co.uk. Check out our reviews, they're all there. Check out our episodes, our blog space, because we really enjoy sharing this stuff. This is what we're passionate about, and we're glad that there are people out there that that take our opinion seriously, I guess. We're really grateful for that. So this is it from...
But grateful.
Yeah. This is it from Geek Ed tonight. Thank you ever so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and good night.
Geek out.